Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the December meeting of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. My name is Tom Carroll. I am the chairman of the party, and I, along with our board, welcome you to this meeting tonight. We are here in this place and this time because God put us here for a reason. We are in a battle to save our country, and there's a reason we all are together tonight. And I want to thank you for coming. First thing we'd like to do is ask you to keep in your thoughts and prayers 3 of our members who have had some difficult health situations in the last couple months or several weeks. Joe Mateus, Tom Campione, and Joe Schwenner. And I would ask Bruce now to come up and lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Tom. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we're here today knowing that we're sharing good holiday cheer and being amongst friends and those who are like-minded in the fight for good, for the fight for clean, the fight for morality, and the fight to be able to worship any denomination within your name. And Lord, it's a tough battle, and we realize that you put nothing in front of us that we cannot handle. Therefore, our gathering today will get us one step closer to disrupting the immoral machine as it tries to make its way to take over our great country, the United States of America. So Lord, on this day, as we get closer to your birthday, please give us the strength to continue the fight, to continue the march, and to continue to have faith that good will conquer evil. And dear Lord, bless all these wonderful people. Bless the people at the director levels who put this program together, got the stage ready. Bless all the great Tea Party members and guests who are there this evening. And dear Lord, keep us in your heart and in your prayers as we go through this holiday season so that everyone remains safe and we're able to gain strength to fight the good fight. In your name we pray. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
If you could remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Gentlemen, remove your hats, please, and I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remain standing for the national anthem. Have your attention, please. All right, thank you.
Quiet, please, quiet.
We're still dealing a little bit with the technical glitches that we're experiencing due to the absence of Tom Campione, but I want to thank Andrew and the entire team for what we have done to try to make this work good, and work well, I should say. And I want to thank everybody for your patience as well for the glitches that do happen, but we're going to get this going here. One of the things that I wanted to do very first in my announcements was bring up one of our board members, Bill Tunke. He wants to talk to you a little bit about the banner that he has back there for Tom Campione. So he's on his way up here now. As he's making his way up here, I just want to start off by saying we, in this battle, our first enemy, in fact, is the Republican establishment. They are nothing more than the controlled opposition for the Marxist takeover of this country. This is not tinfoil hat propaganda. This is the reality of what the Republican Party establishment is. We are fighting a battle for the soul of our nation. This is not about Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. It's good versus evil. But the first battle we are fighting is with our own, our people that we thought were our own. Just as an example, when we saw that there was a recent announcement for Dr. Oz running for Senate, look into him. He's not what he says he is. He's for red flag laws. He's against our Second Amendment. He is not the conservative. He's speaking the right speak, but that's what they do. So many of these governor candidates and Senate candidates are doing the same thing. They're relying on us, trusting that their words will be enough. Their words are not enough. Look back and see that they are the enemy, and we're going to have to fight this battle. So with that, I'll introduce Bill.
Thank you, Tom. First of all, I know most women have pens because I'm going to be giving out Tom Campione's address. So if you wanted to send him a card or whatever, I'll do that at the end. Also, did everybody see Brandon is in the room? How the hell did he ever get an invite? Is he a member? But anyway, let me get back to talk about Tom. I know he's near and dear to everybody's heart, especially mine, because we have a real special relationship. I talked to Tom today on my way over here. And as I said before, our talks are not 10, 15, they're usually 45 minutes to an hour and a half. We talk about everything. But Tom is doing extremely well. Tom was on a walker. He has advanced to a single point cane, but he was just given the approval to go ahead at home and walk without a cane in his apartment. The physical therapist took him downstairs, which is a flight of steps, which is about 12, he said. Then he went outside, which was another 6 to 8 steps, and walked around outside. And he was walking without the cane, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, the other thing to remember is, Tom, you may not know it, but he's a big man for prayer. And he believes his miraculous recovery was because of prayer. So he wanted me to tell you that for those of you who were praying for him, he felt that. He is going to be discharged from home care tomorrow, and he'll probably go to outpatient for a couple of weeks, and then be done. Okay, so once the banner is signed tonight, I will be scheduling to go up to see him, see how he's doing, and give him the banner, and take a picture so we can show everybody. Okay?
Where is he now currently?
He's at home. He's at home. Okay? Any other questions? Okay? The last thing is, let me give you, is everybody ready for the address? This is like your teacher saying, are you ready? Okay. It's 2 36 Larch, L-A-R-C-H, Avenue. Floor 2, he's on the second floor, Dumont, New Jersey. 07628. The banner is in the back. Many of you have signed it. If you don't, please don't leave without signing it. The other thing is, I have a bucket there. If you wanted to make a contribution, by all means, please do that. If you don't, because of the holidays, it's understandable. Tom will appreciate everything that he gets because of the support, not just of us, but everybody. Thank you.
If you have questions, get Bill in the back and ask Bill. Thank you, Bill, for that. And Andrew. The Fearless Fire Hall has been a great host for us for several years now, and they had a meat raffle last weekend. A lot of us were here. We want to thank them for their support. They actually gave a donation to the Boy Scouts through their raffle there. So continue to support them. Hunky Joe's in the back. Buy things from the bar from him. Thank you, Fearless. We also have been talking a lot about recognizing conservative businesses and networking, and we started the program of the networking of the conservative businesses. It's also going to include medical care providers that will be on our side. So we're working to develop that. That's going to take a little bit, but we want to first step, we wanted to recognize Bob and Ann Mikas and their business. They've been members of the Tea Party for many years. They provided us many times for our pig roast, half kegs of beer, etc. So if you're in the need of a beer distributor, go to their address and support them. We're going to continue with this patriot-minded business networking. We have started a list of businesses in and around the Lehigh Valley. Once we build the list to a reasonable number, we will provide it to our members in a directory format. And if you know a patriot-minded business that would like to be on this list, please see Mel Gallagher. We also do this coffee sponsor thing. She's in the back there, and she does the 2A stuff. We've done the coffee sponsor thing for a while here as well. So those businesses that have advertised in the coffee as a coffee sponsor will also be businesses that we will be promoting and connecting to as we move forward with this program. So tonight's agenda, after we're done with the Christmas meal here that we're going to get going shortly, we're going to have the program with the whistleblower video that is going to be amazing, and you're going to really be interested in that. As you might have seen on Newsmax and other sources, there was a whistleblower in Delaware County, and they had some very interesting videos that they were able to take, and there's evidence. There's a lot of evidence. So we also have candidate for Governor Jason Ritchie tonight, and one last final thing we're going to do tonight, thank you Jason for coming, is at the end, toward the end, we're going to do a little bit of that, what Jim Rush had done with us a couple months ago with the fundraising for the purpose of helping Tom Campione with his medical expenses. So that'll wrap up the night. All right, so your 22 membership forms have been mailed, including 3 tickets for cash raffles, and we will draw that raffle in February. So those of you who have gotten used to membership cards and also the cards and the things, whatever, the things over your neck, what do you call them?
Lanyards?
Lanyards.
Yes.
All right. We will be processing them and getting them to you hopefully in January, so we won't have any available tonight for next year, but we will, you're all in the system if you paid. We encourage you to rejoin, pay your dues, and also buy the raffle tickets and get them back to us so we can draw the raffle tickets. And we have tickets here. Okay. How many people are here tonight for the first time? Welcome. We can only accomplish what we need to with the help of every single person in this room. So welcome to the new members. Bring in your family and friends. Keep growing this membership because we've got a lot to do. We will have a 50-50 raffle at the end. Mo will draw that at the end of the night. And we also do the gun raffle in the back. We sell only 100 tickets. When we sell the 100 tickets, then it's drawn. So if we sell them tonight, we'll draw tonight. All right, and then we're going to be talking in January. You're going to hear about a session where we're going to talk about how to get on the ballot to be committee people. You remember Simon Campbell? Well, and he was awesome, wasn't he? Last month when he was here, he talked about the school boards and getting involved. What did he tell you? The same thing I've been saying to you for a long time. I'd love to hear it from a different voice. We need to take over the Republican Party. How do you do that? Every single person in this room needs to become a committee person. Doesn't take that much. You need 10 signatures, you get on the ballot, and you become a committee person. Then you get to vote for the leadership of the party about a month after.
State committee.
And also the state committee that goes to Harrisburg and does all these horrible things with endorsing people. Those state committee spots are also open. And we'll teach you how to run for those, how to get on the ballot, and all those kind of things. So the 22 March for Life, sponsored by our Right to Life Committee. Here you have a sign up in the back tonight. Over here, I'm sorry, to the side here with Sandy. And I don't have a clicker anymore, so they took it away from me. All right, so the Medical Freedom Rally in December 14th at the Capitol Building. So I think there were some flyers put around your tables about that. So look up that flyer information on your flyers, and if you can attend that rally, please do so. We have to have a voice everywhere we can, anytime we can. All right, so if you don't have money to pay for all the things you need to pay for tonight, we do have the LVTP chips as we've always had, so you can buy them and then use them to pay for the raffle tickets or make donations or anything else. All right, and I think, are they here?
No, they didn't make it, but they said we can leave orders with Sandy.
All right, Sandy has a sheet to pre-order the books. Most of you, a lot of you know Michael, the Michael Strange story. Charlie and Mary Strange are good friends of mine. We've known them for many years. Their son died on Extortion 17 on August 6, 2011 in Afghanistan. And they're doing a lot. He's written a book, and we are going to be promoting his book and the January meeting. So we also have a lot of merchandise over here. Let's Go Brandon and stuff makes good Christmas presents, so please consider doing that at the break. All right, so here's our quick treasury membership report. Total members now 6,441. Our bank balance $88,000 and change. Credit line $10,000. And I think that's it for the report. Okay, as you see, this is a pretty big production, and we need a few people to help volunteer to come and set up and break down at the end of the meetings. So if you could go over to the table where Sandy is, and if you're willing to sign up and show up a little bit early and stay a little bit late to help us put all this away, it would be greatly appreciated. Val, are you here? I know you're here, I saw you. Val's done great work with her Support the Troop efforts, and welcome.
Good evening, everybody, and Merry Christmas. We're allowed to say that here. It's the season of hope. And if you look in the dictionary like I did today, the definition of a hope is expecting a desire for a certain thing to happen. Now, throughout our lives, we always hope. We hope for a good job. We hope for good health for our family, for our fellow members like Tom and Joe, and you hope for your grandchildren. You hope for our candidates like Kathy Burnett and Lisa Schiller that they get elected, and Donald Trump. And then we hope for peace. And we have our military men and women who go overseas or in America, and they hope to make a difference. And our way of helping them is our free surprise care packages. And those of you who know me and my husband, we've been doing it for 13 years. We've spent over 3,100 packages and going, but we're always looking for new names. So the new people tonight, I saw a lot of names. Hands go up. If you know anyone, or if you don't, come over, take our card, because someday you'll hear, oh, my son just got deployed, or my son just joined the service. That is our hope for America and the future. So that's what we do. We send free care packages. We thank you very much. And if anybody's looking to give us a little donation right now, the one thing that we're looking for is toothpaste. Every package gets toothpaste and toothbrushes, and let me just tell you what kind of difference we make. This Kuwait postcard came in the mail. I found it interesting. It came all the way from South Bend, Indiana to Kuwait to Pennsylvania. It says, "All, thank you so much for the care package. I grew up in South Jersey. However, I frequented many restaurants in the Easton area. I was amazed to see how much support from organizations in that area like yours. The snacks, the other various items were enjoyed by my team and myself. Gratefully, Task Sergeant Kenneth Murbach." So I thank all of you. God bless you. God bless America. God bless your families. And let's keep praying for hope.
Thank you, Val. Take away my clicker, you're going to have to get faster here. Okay, so we do need help with the donations to pay for the room and all the things that we do, like paying for the food tonight, etc. So normally we ask if you could, at least the buckets on the tables, if you could give $5 to $7 a person. If you're short on cash, you do have those chips. And if you can give more, of course, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Tonight's coffee sponsor, are they here? They're right next to you. Okay, they're there. So visit their table over there, and thank you for supporting us and your efforts. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to say is, do we have a plan here for how it's going to go here?
So to make it easy, anyone that does have a cane or is somewhat handicapped, let's let them go up first. So give them a minute. If you're in that need, that you have problems walking, stand up now, head back. And then I think we'll start with the front set of tables. So the front set of tables. So if you could stand up, this table. So we'll work our way back. Yeah, stand up.
And as we're doing this, just keep in mind...
It'll move pretty quick.
It'll move quickly. Keep in mind that this is not normal times. We're not being politically correct anymore. We are standing up and fighting, and we're not apologizing for our anything anymore. We are on the right, and we need to stand up and fight. I also neglected to welcome a couple people here tonight, and I just wanted to do that now before we get to the next section of our meeting here. Lisa Scheller, a good friend of mine, is here. She's running for Congress, and I just wanted to say welcome, Lisa. God bless you, Lisa. She's good. Been a friend of mine for a long time, but she's fighting the battle, and she's going to get rid of Susan Wild for us. Also, James Jones, my friend James. Where are you, James? Where are you? I know you were sitting over there. James is running for Lieutenant Governor. And thank you for coming up, James. All right, so let's get started here. Andrew. I'm going to have to get a clicker from your... Okay, no. It's not too far. All right, I'd like to introduce you to the speaker that's going to present this section, but I need everyone to be quiet first, please. Bill Blackenberg is here. He owns Lehigh Valley Sporting Clays, and he's presented to us before on election issues, and he's got something amazing to show us tonight and talk to us about. And since Bill likes to talk, we'll get him up here.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me back. It's going to be pretty hard following that good meal there, but my colleague down here said he's going to walk around and hand out some popcorn. There's a few slides in, we got a little video for you to watch. Last time I was up here, I talked about elections as I usually do, and I just have to say I'm angrier than ever about what we're learning across the country. You can't believe how bad this is. And I cut out half my slides tonight so I could spend time just focusing on this little section tonight. But I've got some other really explosive stuff for you another time. As my headline up there says, the most secure election ever is a complete fraud. It's a lie. It really is. And what I did is I compiled a list of all the things that are proven in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, and Georgia. And there's no way we can continue with the existing system. I mean, we're worse than a third world country. So I'm going to give you a quick update here. The PA investigation, Senator Dush's office has taken over the investigation in Pennsylvania here. If you recall, I said that Pennsylvania Senate cannot do an audit. They do not have the legal authority to do an audit. They have to do an investigation, which can be similar. The investigation is to help them with new legislation. So you can read my bullet points up there. Senator Dush is handling the investigation. He's experienced in running investigations in the military and in private life. The big bullet is at the bottom. Based on sources that I'm hearing from, he is the right person. You may not be seeing a lot going on in the public vein right now, but they are working behind the scenes, and a lot of good stuff's going to come out of that. Last week, the Senate awarded the contract to a company called Envoy Sage to help with the investigation. And they're a company out of Iowa, a group of military investigators, DOD investigators. From what I've heard, a really sharp team that's non-political, and we'll get to the bottom of what they're allowed to get to the bottom of. They still have to deal with the Senate too. So the current status of election fraud cases in PA. Does anyone know if there's any cases going on in PA right now? Okay, so there are. We've got quite a few actually. The 14 House Republicans filed a lawsuit to strike down PA's mail-in ballots. That's really Act 77. Right? We already litigated that last year. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled on latches, said we filed not timely on that case, and the U.S. Supreme Court didn't do anything. I don't know what they're expecting to have a different outcome, but they are suing to get rid of mail-in ballots. Let's talk about Delaware County, PA. Excuse me?
Cheaters.
They're not cheaters. Come on. So I had to look on the map. You know, I've never, like I told you last year, I haven't been politically active ever till last July. And Delaware County is down here, this little county below Philadelphia and next to Chester County. Some of the specs are up there. 425,000 voters. What's really interesting is I cannot get a consistent number of how many people voted in Delaware County. If you go to the SURE system, which is the system that registers all the voters in PA, it's a different number than what the county reports versus other reports the county reports. We just don't know. But we do know there's 428 precincts in Delaware County. And last fall, right after the election, there we go. Greg Senstrom and Leah Hoops were here before. They've talked to you back in the spring about their lawsuit. It's on appeal. It was heard a week and a half ago, and we'll see what happens. I don't really think anything's going to happen because the judges, well, are corrupt. You know, can't put it any simpler than that. They made allegations that votes were forensically impossible to verify or validate. There was tens of thousands of unopened ballots, tens of thousands of ballots that were destroyed. And while they were doing the counting, Delaware County was hacked. and had to pay a $500,000 ransom to get their systems back. And apparently they didn't get everything back anyway. And remember, the systems aren't supposed to be hooked up to the networks. But you'll hear more. Okay, just on November 1st, James Savage, who's the Delaware County voting supervisor of the warehouse, filed a lawsuit against President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Leah Hoops, Craig Senstrom. And it's really interesting if you read the lawsuit. The lawsuit claims he faced death threats, claims President Trump threatened him, claims he suffered 2 heart attacks. But Savage's attorney concedes, this is in the pleadings, concedes that the filing that Trump and the other defendants typically did not name Savage in public statements linking him to the misconduct. But the new lawsuit says that doesn't matter. You can't make this shit up, people. Okay. What we believe it was they filed this lawsuit because Greg and Leah's appeal was coming up the following week. So it was a distraction. Okay. They actually did us a favor by doing that lawsuit in another manner. Before we get into something here, a lot of these terms are thrown around, and I, like many of you, really didn't understand what they were, or they've got multiple names for the same pieces of equipment. So up here is a scanner or a tabulator that Delaware County uses. Delaware County uses Verity. They don't use ES&S or Dominion, but they use a company called Verity. And that's the machine you put your ballot in. When you're done voting, they push a button and all the results come on a USB memory stick. And they call it a V drive. Okay? And that's where the results and the ballot images are stored to take them back to Central County. It also prints out a paper tape. So not only are the records on the V drive, but they're on the paper tape for an audit trail. But if you recall last time I was here, we can make up the paper tapes to have any number on it we want. Right? So they're meaningless. This here is called a return sheet, which also goes with the V drive and the paper tape. And that return sheet is the holy grail on the election results. It means how many ballots were given to the precinct, how many were spoiled, how many were voted, how many provisional, and that's returned back with everything. This is an actual Delaware County return sheet that we got from a FOIA request, a right to know request. What's interesting on that return sheet is every one of these checks is supposed to be a number. It's supposed to be the seal of the machines or the ballots, the spoiled ballots and provisional ballots. They're just check marks. It gets better. The people that signed off is only the election judge. And the 3 signatures for the same person are all different. And it doesn't take a handwriting expert to figure that one out when you're up close and reading them. And there was no minority inspector on this particular return sheet. So we've got scanners, V drives, tapes, and return sheets. On November 17th, a lawsuit was filed in Delaware County on election cover-up and conspiracy. And the premise of the lawsuit is certain Delaware County election staff, employees, an officer of the court conspired to destroy, tamper, or fabricate election results for the November 2020 election. They also destroyed, manipulated, and or left out materials for a right-to-know request. And where do you always get caught on doing things? It's the cover-up. So what happened? There's a whole bunch of bullet points underneath this, but I've got a video that'll do much better than me sitting up here reading the bullet points from this. If you can't see on the edges, please move to the back because it's a really powerful video. And I'm going to cut it short after the meat and potatoes of it so I can spend more time going over some points here. Because it's a 20-minute video, and I'd like to spend more time with some of the afterbullet items on it. So, are you as angry as I am? Yes. And they've got the nerve to say this is fabricated. I'll have questions later, sir. Thank you. So, what's that?
A little more volume.
A little more volume. How's that? Whoa, okay. You know what, I gotta put my glasses on. You know when after 60 it's all downhill? So, what did we learn for the right to know, right? We learned 189 precincts didn't have return sheets or with missing information. All you need is one return sheet missing, and the election can't be certified. 22 didn't have machine tape, 16 didn't have return sheets. The statistics are mind-boggling. This is a spreadsheet. It's really hard to see from out there. But every X that's on this spreadsheet, and you can see all these red X's, this is only about 20 precincts out of the 428 precincts. All you need is one X, and the election can't be certified. There's hundreds of X's. Hundreds. You saw the video, right?
The election office.
So I did a little analysis quick. There's a lot of numbers on here, but what's interesting is I looked at Philadelphia, which is a heavily Democratic county, right? By far. 76% are Democrat versus 49 in Delaware County. Trump gained 3% more votes than when he ran against Hillary in Delaware. I mean in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia came out and gave President Trump more votes by over 3%. In Delaware County, he lost 2% in a much heavier Republican county. Now this is the interesting part here. Delaware County was the last county to report its election results. Trump was winning before Delaware announced by 7,342 votes. Biden won by 8,000. So all they had to do is flip about 40,000 votes. And that's why we caught them on the right to know, because when they flipped the votes, they had no audit trail anymore and they couldn't maintain the audit trail. If you take the election results that are here and you equalize them to most of the other counties around the state where the race was basically 50-50 instead of 62-36, but if you go with a 50-48, 50 to Biden and 48 to Trump, it was a tie race at that point. So we know statistics work in our favor. What's interesting is in that video, there's so much background that I've been learning about it as I read the lawsuit. By the way, I'm going to give you where that video is so you can watch it again and you can send it to your friends. And the lawsuit's also on that website. This is what frustrates me more than ever, is this was supposed to be the most secure election ever. I've got 4 pages of all the points you could subvert the election from just the printing of the ballots, like in Michigan, where the printer printed them 2 millimeters off registration so they'd get rejected. So that you can subvert an election in so many different ways, but this is a quick way of having ballot forgeries like they found in Arizona and Michigan, and we'll see what we get out of the Delaware County lawsuit. The Shore system, 20,000 people dead. One of them's 222 years old and she voted. I have a whole thing on that. It's unbelievable. The paper tapes can be recreated. The V drives can change the election results and the programming of the machines. It just goes on and on that there is no good voting system. And then just plain Secretary of State broke the laws, the counties, the PA legislators broke the laws, the PA Supreme Court, corrupt election boards, canvassing, adjudication, destruction of records. It's just very, very frustrating. So, what can you do? I'm going to keep pounding it in, people. Let your friends know there's fraud, right? We've got it. This has got to be a groundswell, because I can tell you this right now. Our PA House of Representatives out there are ignoring this. They want it to go away. I've been told that. Okay. There's some senators, like Judy Ward, who called a governor candidate and said, stop pushing the election fraud, because it may hurt her. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to start getting vocal, right? And we're going to come up with a strategic plan over the next month here of how we're going to get this word out and start rattling their chains a little bit. Because quite frankly, I want to primary every one of those SOBs. Right? I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of their bullshit answers and their dancing. I want it in writing, their position, so we can hold it against them. Right? And you got to let them know that you and your families and your friends aren't going to vote for them anymore. That's what they need to know. And we need help financially. This thing's cost millions of dollars to get it to its point. Any donation's not too small. And if you go to the website up here, electioninvestigationlaw.org, that's electioninvestigation.org. The videos are there, the lawsuit's there. We've got more video coming out that'll be there shortly. And I came up with this demand here. We want one verified voter, one authentic ballot, and one accurately counted ballot. And that equals a trusted election. And voting machines are not going to get us there. The website is electioninvestigationlaw.org. Okay. Stanford, how are we doing on time?
8:30.
8:30, and what do I have to? I'll take any questions. Yes, sir.
Get a mic.
So this is kind of a question for everyone. So this is kind of a question for everyone here. Is anyone really surprised by this? No. Okay. No, we know this has been going on for years. And the thing is, this is good information. This only confirms what we already know. But the thing is, and I think the question that we also need to start talking about is what do we do when voting doesn't work anymore? Because it's not working. Because what happens is they'll just steal it from us if they don't get the result they want, or they'll gerrymander so they can get the result they want and call it legal. So what's our solution when voting doesn't work for us anymore? And I don't think we can come up with an answer now, but I think it's something we...
Raise a question, please.
I apologize. It's just a question for everyone that we probably don't have an answer for it now. But everyone in this room here, should think about what we can do as a collective when elections stop working. So when we come here in January, we can start talking about ideas and solutions.
The question I have is, the premise is that they're not going to overturn the election. So who cares? Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's happening right now.
So, no, the election is not going to be overturned. It can't be. There is no legal mechanism to overturn the election. So we need to fix it for the future. I agree with you, but there's nothing we can do about it, right? We've got to move forward. Legally, there's nothing that can be done. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask everybody to please be quiet and be respectful of the speaker and also the person asking a question. This is a... Stop yelling out, please. This is a tough issue. And Bill's right about one thing, certainly. You can't just make new rules. There's a constitution. Now, they don't apply by it. They don't listen to it. But they have the instrumentalities. They control the instrumentalities of power. So with that being, we want to say we have the right to overturn this. They're going to start arresting us. They're going to call us insurrectionists. Now, we don't care them what they call, but we have to be smart about this. We have to figure out how to fix this. And part of that is getting the truth out and then making sure that the Republican establishment, which is our enemies, because they're the ones that did all the dirty deeds against Trump for 4 years. It wasn't the Democrats, it was the Republicans. And we need to fix this. First step is by listening to what's being said and then taking that step further. Support things like these lawsuits and other such things.
Thank you, Tom. And Tom's right. You people in this room and the Tea Party can affect the change. It has to start here local. That's all I can say. I don't have the answers. This is not, I was never involved in elections. I didn't care about it, politics, well, a year and a half ago now, because we've been fighting this. So I don't have the answers. I just know what I'm being told. So we have to use every legal means. We have to use the Constitution, even though they ignore it, and start a grassroots movement to take back our state and our country. Thank you.
So, quick question. So what we have going on is taxation without representation. So why don't we all just stop paying taxes? Until they prove to us that the election is no longer fraudulent.
If 100% of the people did it, that would work.
Just stop paying taxes. There's a solution.
The grievances that our founding fathers had to stand up and pledge their lives and their fortunes and their sacred honor to defend liberty and to establish a system of justice and a system that had the basis of God gave us rights. Those founding fathers, they pledged their life, their fortunes, and their sacred honor for egregious behavior that wasn't a tenth of what they are doing to us now. So part of this process is, we got to all figure it out, but in some way, in our own way, we got to stand up, speak out, and build this movement. Just keep going. Just don't let them shut you down. Don't let them call you a racist. Don't reject their argument. Don't go along with their premise of their dialogue that it's just not, we just don't even answer them. We stand up and we do what we need to do. We build the Republican Party so that we get rid of the rhinos. We elect people into the process that we can actually count on. So we have been through that process, also hearing from candidates for U.S. Senate and the governor's race, and we have a lot of people in the race. And as you know, tonight's meeting was a bit of a challenge for us because we thought Sean Parnell was going to be here tonight, but then of course within recent times he withdrew from the race. We wanted to hear from as many of these legitimate candidates as possible so that we could ask them the tough questions. And that's why tonight we have another candidate running for governor who has agreed to come here tonight. He met a lot of you tonight. And I'm going to bring him up now, and he's going to speak to us for a little bit. And you can ask him a few questions about what he's going to do if he wins the governorship. So welcome.
Everybody hear me okay? Yeah. All right, my name is Jason Ritchie. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm running to be your next governor. I hope that every person in this room is as pissed off as I am about what I just saw right there and that evidence. You gotta believe it. I hope everybody in this room is as pissed off as I am that Pennsylvania has suffered 50 years of economic decline. And I hope that everyone in this room is upset at the massive state government that we have. And these legislators, the most expensive and largest legislature in the entire country, bar no other state, and they're giving themselves a pay raise on January 1st. Unacceptable. Now, President Trump showed one thing. He showed a lot of things. One thing he showed is that a political outsider can come into the government and disrupt it for positive change. We saw it in our country. The economy boomed in a way that has never boomed in the United States of America. I am a political outsider from Pittsburgh. I have never run for political office. I am here. I owe no one any favors. I have no special interest behind me. I am standing up because with all the problems that we've had, and you see this, 75% of our counties are losing population. People don't want to stay here anymore. The kids are going to places like Texas and Tennessee, and the grandkids are being raised somewhere else. And I'm running for governor because I got 3 boys, a senior, a junior, and a freshman in high school. And we got to fix these problems so they stay here and my grandkids stay here. Now I know a little bit about economic problems. I grew up in a place called Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. It was a steel town outside of Pittsburgh. Also the home of Mike Ditka, who's endorsed me in this campaign. And when I grew up, the steel mills were failing. People were losing jobs. Families were breaking up. I can remember my parents with my church. We did Meals on Wheels to try to help people with food. And it was a tough town. And it was a blue-collar town. I then wrestled and I played football in high school. I eventually went to Allegheny College in Crawford County, where I was a 3-time All-American wrestler, 3rd wrestler in college history with 100 wins. And people ask me all the time, Jason, why do you mention that wrestling stuff in your governor race? I say, because I want them to know I can take Shapiro at any time. Going down. So after college, I went to law school, and to help put myself through school, I worked in the last remaining steel mill in Aliquippa. It's called J&L Structural, doing hard labor, 120 degrees. And you get black stuff on you, and you had to get special soap to get it off. You blow your nose, and all this stuff would come out of your head, and you'd be like, what the heck was that? But it was good, because you learned a lot about life working in those mills, and put myself through law school. I eventually went to K&L Gates, which is one of the largest law firms in the world. I've been there, I've worked as one of the top litigators in the country for the last 26 years. I've done energy law, manufacturing law, infrastructure law, and I also do bid protest, which is finding and uncovering corruption when the government procures something. K&L Gates is a conservative law firm. It's the same law firm that was giving you Rick Santorum, and they gave you Dick Thornburg. So there's a good pedigree of Republican conservatives from my law firm. So I got 3 boys. My wife Melissa is a nurse practitioner. All 3 of my boys are wrestlers. They're good kids. And we've had a happy family. But in November of 2020, we had an election that had numerous problems with it, as we just saw. In November of 2020, we had a governor who ordered COVID-positive elderly patients from the hospitals and ordered them back to the nursing homes at the same time his Secretary of Health was ordering her mother out. They knew their policy was harmful. It's criminal. It's criminal. People died because of that.
Why aren't they in jail?
And what did I'll tell you right now, and you guys know the answer. What did our Attorney General, who's supposed to put people in jail for doing things like that, what did Josh Shapiro do about it? Nothing. Nothing. He did nothing. In November 2020, we had a governor who arbitrarily chose which businesses could stay open and which ones would close. You know, Walmart was fine where all these people could mingle, but a mom and pop store in Bethlehem closed, right? Ridiculous. Or how about this? Wolf Enterprises in York, Pennsylvania makes cabinets. They were allowed to stay open, but Hoff Enterprise in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and I visited it. 200 employees applied for exemption twice, denied. Unconstitutional, abuse of power, destroyed a lot of my friends' businesses. And what did Josh Shapiro do about it? And finally, every single state has Emergency Powers Act, where you hear it all the time. There's a hurricane, governor declares an emergency, gets extra powers, and then he releases it. During COVID, Governor Wolf declared an emergency. And when the legislature tried to pull his powers back, he ignored them. Became a dictator. To the point where we had to have an amendment to our Constitution to stop his dictator powers. And what did Josh Shapiro do to stop our governor from becoming a dictator? And I want to tell you all right now, the reason why Josh Shapiro did nothing, and more nothing, is that he had a plan to become first Jewish president of the United States of America, and the next step was to become governor, and he did not want to step on Wolf's toes, he did not want to step on the Democrats' toes, and he put his own political career ahead of the people of Pennsylvania. And I make a promise to everybody in this room right now, when I'm your next governor, I will always put the people first. Now, if I were to tell you that Josh Shapiro and Governor Wolf were the only two politicians that have failed you, I'd be lying. Pennsylvania has been in a 50-year decline. We lose a congressional representative every decade. Our growth compared to the other states, we're one of the least growth states in the country. And it's criminal because it shouldn't be happening, right? We in Pennsylvania should be the #1 most thriving economic state in the entire country. We have more natural resources than most countries that exist in the world. We have hard-working, blue-collar people that you can't find everywhere, and we sit geographically right in the middle of the greatest spot on earth, right? Right in the middle of the northeastern United States. We should be thriving by any question. So you gotta ask yourself out there with our politicians, why are we thriving? Like what's going on? Why have we been in this long decline? I'll tell you. A lot of people will call us tax evading, okay? We have the second highest business income tax in the country. Only New Jersey's higher. With the second highest gasoline tax in the country, only California is higher. We are top 15 in property taxes. And if that weren't enough for you, we have a sales tax, an income tax, a property transfer tax, a debt tax. We saw the Johnstown flood tax on alcohol, plus an LCD markup. And we can never forget, we have the world's most expensive toll road, right? If you're a new family or business, there's nothing attractive about Pennsylvania. And then you gotta ask yourself, why do we have all these taxes? Our roads stink, our government services are horrible, we can't even run an election? What's all that money? Well, here it is. This is what they don't want you to know. We have the largest and most expensive legislature in the entire country, bar no other state. Unacceptable. And then what these politicians have, and they're, by the way, as I said, they're giving themselves a pay raise on January 1st, $7,000 for each of them. Right? We have worthless commissions, like the LCB and the Turnpike Commission. And there's tons of them, folks. And what these politicians do is they put their friends and help them get elected and give them money so those guys can make $200,000, get a full pension, not do a darn thing for you, right? We got to get rid of these commissions. Okay? So our state and our executive branch is huge with agency after agency that is anti-business and anti-growth. So we have too much government, and we need all these taxes to pay for it. So what do? My team, I've had some of the best experts in the country put together a plan on how to turn Pennsylvania around. Okay? And if you look on the sheets that are on your tables, the 12-point plan is in the back. But I want to just go over a little bit with you. The first thing that I want to do is slowly bring Pennsylvania to 0% income tax, just like Texas and just like Tennessee. We know from those states that when you do it slowly over time, new businesses and new people will come to your state because all an income tax does is penalize people who have the audacity to get off their butt and go out and work. And we're going to end that penalty, and that 0% income tax will be a game changer on keeping our kids and grandkids here. The second thing we need to do is we need to shrink the size and cost of our state government. We have to run Pennsylvania like a business so that we are competitive against the other 49 states. Third, we need to unleash the power of our manufacturing and energy. Pennsylvania sits on top of an ocean of energy. We have more natural gas than Saudi Arabia has oil, to put it in perspective for you. And yet, the Democrats stop us from getting it out of Pennsylvania. For instance, do you know, this shows you how screwed up our country is right here. Do you know where New England and Boston get most of its natural gas from?
Pennsylvania.
Vladimir Putin. They import it all from Russia because we can't build a pipeline across New York. So what we intend to do is build a pipeline network throughout Pennsylvania, quintuple the amount of natural gas that we can get to Philadelphia. When we can liquefy it, we get to Naval Yard going again, building ships, and we're going to take our natural gas all over the world, including to our NATO allies in Western Europe.
Two questions.
What?
Give him about 2 minutes and then our two
Yeah,
questions.
please let me finish up. So we'll get our economy going again. As we get our economy back on track, and we will create tens of thousands of jobs here in Pennsylvania and reduce all of our taxes with that economic growth. We will not forget what happened in the 2020 election. We have to bring Pennsylvania back to election integrity, and what I will do is three simple things. Number one, we will repeal the 50 days of mail-in balloting that the Republican Party has. Two, we will make sure that every voter, when they go to the polls, as our Constitution requires to vote, will show voter ID. And three, I want to make Pennsylvania on general elections a statewide holiday so that everyone has the opportunity to vote. We can get our eyeballs out there with poll workers and people watching for things happen. I'm going to end on this, okay? I want to end on this. If you haven't heard anything I said, I want you to hear this. We got to win this election. Shapiro is twice as liberal as Wolf. We'll be talking about, people have said if Shapiro gets elected, we'll talk about Wolf like the good old days. I want to give you three reasons why Jason Ritchie's the candidate that I want you to get behind and spread the word on. Number one, and this is critical, there's 600,000 more Democrats in this state. Our last four governors all have one thing in common. We've only had 4 Republican governors since the 60s. They're all from Western Pennsylvania. I'm the only candidate from Western Pennsylvania, but the Democrats and independents that live where I live are much more conservative than the liberals over in Philadelphia, and they will vote for one of their own over a flaming liberal like Josh Shapiro any day of the week. Two, I have a plan, and it's on there, One of the things that I loved about Donald Trump is that whatever he said he was going to do, he did it. So I put my plan in writing so you can all hold me responsible that when I'm in office, I will do what I said I was going to do. And 3, and this is the most important, folks, I am the perfect contrast to Josh Shapiro. He is from a wealthy Philadelphia family, went to a fancy Philadelphia school, and he is a career politician. He's never worked one day of his life in the private sector. I, on the other hand, am a blue-collar kid from Alcova, Pennsylvania, NCAA wrestler, worked in the steel mills, and I have never taken a taxpayer paycheck in my life. And I trust you, that contrast will win us this election. So if you believe and you want a candidate that's pro-life, if you want a candidate that's pro-Second Amendment, including constitutional carry, if you want a candidate that will bring down crime, support and fund our police, and most importantly, if you want a candidate that will turn around this 50 years of economic decline to make Pennsylvania the most thriving state in the country, then I ask you all, support Jason Ritchie, sign up, spread the word, because we are going to disrupt Harrisburg together, and we can and will change the state. Thank you.
First question, I'm going to make a couple comments about what you just said. I'm very familiar with Josh Shapiro. Interesting, Josh Shapiro a year ago and for the last year has been saying there's no voter fraud in Pennsylvania. But yet, interestingly enough, the Delaware County case gets filed and he announces a voter fraud hotline. He's a deceptive piece of crap. He is also tied to the Republican establishment. Your former state party chair, Val DeGeneres, and his wife and their wives are mutual friends, and the whole plan always was to make sure that the Republican candidate for governor can't be Josh Shapiro, and that's your Republican establishment.
That's right.
And I will agree with what you said about Josh Shapiro. So,
Put God back in our schools, too.
Yes, sir.
Andrew, did you have the mic with that question? We can take like 2. All right, here. Mike Garcia.
Hey, I got a question. Now, we're all talking about all the dirty politics that's being played. We have a very serious problem in our country, sir. And the serious problem is we have too many people killing them. Not just the Black Lives Matter, but all kinds, young ones. You just saw what happened in Wisconsin. What is creating all this? I'm telling you right now. We asked the people out of the state hospital years ago. Big mistake. You see what occurred? We have them in the streets. They're homeless. They're the homeless ones. How can they get a job? They don't even know what the heck their name is. Like Joe Biden, huh? Hey. The question is, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Would you implement, bring back the mental institutions to make America better and greater and safer? We need a problem. There's no problem. Okay.
Yeah, so the question he had was, we've seen all these shootings and we know that in the past we didn't have them because there were mental institutions that took care of these bipolar folks. And those have been closed and they're out running around and when they don't take their medication and they go manic, they don't even appreciate what the heck they're doing. So I would have special hospitals. We need to, especially for the worst, that are the most likely to commit crimes. The other thing that we can do is for the police to, when there is a mental health problem, to add to our police department mental health professionals, because a lot of times the police aren't mental health professionals and they're out and asked to take care of these bipolar folks. We can help our police by making sure that there are mental health professionals that can be dispatched to mental health patients. Rethink it, please.
Hey Jason, thank you for your time tonight.
Yes.
So 2019, as we headed into December, as we are this year, they pulled the big, scandemic, and they launched everything. So now we have Omicron, which is the exact same timing. It's the same exact stuff we're going to see next year heading into January, February, March. They're going to push the mail-in ballots, and we all talked about the issues with the election process. How? I guess my question is, how do you win? How do you win when we have a fraudulent election process that has had no fix whatsoever? We have all this evidence and information that shows us how fraudulent this. I'm concerned about you. I'm concerned about Lisa Scheller coming up in 2022. That she needs to win as well. How do you win when you have a system that's broken?
Yeah, great question. This is something, because your friends are going to have the same issue. And this is what I beg and plead of you. One, we get to the polls in numbers, as best we can, and we vote. Don't let anyone not go out and vote because they don't think it counts or that the election decision. So you got to do that. You got to believe, okay? But the second thing is, as citizens, I need you out there watching the polls, becoming poll watchers, finding and keeping your eyes open to what's going on. We know what they're doing, right? So we got to be extra vigilant and be involved in the process. And if we do that, I know there's going to be shenanigans going on, but we all got to work together as a team, and I believe we can win. And then when I win, I promise you, we're going to have the best Secretary of State possible. We're going to bring transparency to everything that went on. Right? We're going to look at everything, we're going to audit everything, and we're going to make it available. And I promise you, when the next presidential election comes, it will be fair to all parties. I promise you that. The governor has to take care of that.
All right. I know there's more people that want to ask questions, but we don't have time for more. But give us your website if you have one.
Yeah, so my website's on those cards on the sheet. It's www.jasonritchie2022.com. And I will stay here. We have a sign-up sheet over here if you want to be on our team. You can sign up on our website. And I promise, if anybody has a question, I'll stay here and answer every single one of them. So there's nobody here asking questions. I appreciate your time. So.
Thank you. Before we get to that, actually, Jim Rush. He's going to come up. He's going to do a little thing he did before. This is a little bit of a fundraiser so we can help Tom Campion defer some of his medical expenses. So, Jim, you have the floor for a couple of minutes here. Not older than you.
That's to him, I'm sorry. Alrighty, I'm going to play a little bit of Santa Claus tonight. We're going to try and help Tom Campion out. And as far as I'm concerned, it's in desperate need. I need 4 of my elves. Andrew, Jimmy,
Jay, there, you want to help?
Tim, you want to help me out?
Andrew, you want me to?
We'll be just a few minutes with this, but then at the end, we're going to draw the 50-50 raffle and some final announcements that I hope we can have everyone's attention for. So if we can keep the discussions down still and have a little patience with just a couple more minutes and we'll wrap it up. But it's important that you stay here for final announcements because there's a lot of stuff going on and we need your attention, please. And could you please stop talking?
All right, if I can have your attention, please. For those who don't know me, my name is Jim Rush. I'm on the executive board of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. I am part of the security team. I am on the Northampton County Republican Committee. They need a lot of help. I'm sorry, they need a lot of help. And I've also been elected majority inspector of the elections, and I'm a bully. I will make sure that everything is done right in my polling place. Now, what I want to do tonight is I have here in my hand, now this is for Tom Campion. Tom, we love him. He needs a little bit of help. He's got all those stairs to go up and down, and it's really difficult to walk with a cane or a walker.
All right, Christy, where are you going?
All right. I have $20 in my hand. I am looking for someone to match my $20 bill. It's already been done. All right, who's going to match that $20 bill? All right, over here, who's going to match that $20 bill? Over there, we got another one. Do we have anyone over here willing to give a $20 bill to help Tom Campio? We have one there. Right there, Andrew. All right, who's going to match her $20 bill? Mr. Jones back there is going to match that $20 bill.
Got one here.
All right, got one there. There's my $20 bill. We have a $20 bill from the young gentleman in the back. Who's going to match his? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We have more to match. Who else is going to match the $20 bills that are being held up? Now, I don't want to ruin my reputation, but I figured there's close to 300 people in the room tonight, and I'm looking to garner. Now, listen up.
If I could have your attention, please. I'm just asking you to be quiet and listen for about 5 more minutes, please.
In the 15 minutes that I'm going to be up here, I'm looking to raise $4,000.
You don't got 15 minutes.
All right, use up 10.
All right, let's get going.
All right, do we have any more $20 bills on? Raise your hands. Help us out. Help Tom. Tom, as you know, had a stroke. And we want to help him out here at Christmas.
Couple weeks back.
All right, we have one in the back there. Jimmy, one in the back. Any more? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your cooperation. I have one more request. Is there anyone in the room willing to match the money that we just received? We have to count it first. Anyone willing to match the money that's over here in the red containers?
Yeah, Tom Carroll.
I could. You'll do it? Tom Carroll will match whatever we collected. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if I get any more money, stop that right now.
I have to call my mom, see if she can give me a loan.
All right, Bill, shut up. All right, Amber, can we do the, thank you, everybody. God bless you for doing that. We need help for Tom.
And what I've been saying for so many months is, we need to be a family. We need to stand up for each other. So we need to support our businesses and our doctors that are supporting of us, and et cetera. So Andrew, do you have the clicker here now? Okay, next month's meeting, check that date out, January 6th. All right, so we'll see if we're going to be facing any issues on that date. But let's enjoy the 50-50 raffle, Tom and Mo.
Okay, tonight's winner, everybody get out your 50-50 raffle tickets, the yellow ones. Tonight's winner will go home with $420 cash. The winning number is 0, 4, 6, 2, 9, 4, 2. You fucker!
Bad language, not acceptable. Okay, so just one last thing, if I could have everyone's attention. Did we get did we get a winner? Okay. Did we also, okay, we have a gun raffle that we sell 100 tickets for. We sold the 100 tickets tonight, so you can draw that. And Andy, can you pull that out? Gene Vanelli, and if you're not here, we'll notify you, so thank you for that. Final remarks. We are in a battle for our nation, as I keep saying, but have faith, we are winning. We are full of anxiety, but we don't have to be, because God said, be not afraid. have faith in the Lord, stand with each other, and stand up and fight against these leftists. Thank you for coming out tonight, and we'll see you in January. Merry Christmas.